Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back for another one. Today we're going to be doing a water pump on my 99 Ranger 3.0 liter. So let's not waste no time, let's dig right into it. The weather's moving in, it's going to storm. Unfortunately there's too much crap to get it all the way in my garage. So I've never done a water pump before, can't be that hard. First things first, we're going to have to get the air intake off. Let me get some tools, and we got to get this fan shroud off, and then we'll have to get the fan off. So let me get what we need and I'll get back on here in just a second. First things first, it's air intake, flathead, get your hose clamps off. You got a sensor right here, you're gonna have to unplug, and then there's a tube back here, and then you're gonna want to pull your intake off, the rest of it, the second clamp back here. So let me take a look at this sensor. You don't want to break any of these. Looks like you push down on the clip with your fingernail, pops right off. Get the back side of this loose. Get it out of there. I should mention to you guys, I've had all this off before. I bought this truck, it was in an accident. It came out of Minnesota. I bought it for 600 bucks several years ago now, and it's been really good to me. I can't complain, but I did put a new front clip on it. So that being said, I've already had the fan off. I've had a lot of stuff off. It's got a new radiator in it. The front end was pretty smashed on it. Blew the airbags, all that happy crap. Alright, now we got that out of the way. Let me tell you what size socket you need for this shroud. Hopefully you guys can see. So, alright, let me get the tools we need for that. Your fan shroud's going to have two 10mm bolts. Get them out. This whole plastic fan shroud will pull right out. Those are out. The plastic fan shroud will come out. And well, apparently on this one I got to take the fan blade off first before I get the shroud out. I thought this was a half housing. It's not. I forgot. Let me get a light on here. I'll show you what I do to get the fan off. I just take my air hammer. It's reverse thread on the nut, so I'll set you guys up closer so you can see. Alright guys, I'll just take my air hammer down here, and I'll fit it in here between the blades, like this. As you can see guys, she broke loose, so now I'll just spin it the rest of the way off. Just like this, spin it off. It's kind of heavy. Sorry you guys probably couldn't hear over the little compressor. Unfortunately right now my big Ingersoll ran 2 stages, the regulator's out. I'm waiting on the parts to get here. So spin this fan off. Like I said, it's reverse thread on these. Air hammer is the best way to break these loose. I fought with these, There you go, it'll fall. Get it out of there. Don't tear up your radiator. It can be a little tricky to get out. Once you get it out, it ain't that bad. It's just getting it out can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. We might have to take the shroud out at the same time. Let me finish this off camera. I take a 15 mil on the tensioner, loosen your belt tension. Since I'm the only person holding the camera, let me set it down somehow where you guys can see. Just like that. Start slipping your belt off. Once you get your belt off, check all your pulleys for any slack, any bad bearings. Check your alternator. While you're doing this, do everything at once. Check your belt too. I know this one's got cracks in it. Replace your belt while you're at it. You're an idiot if you don't. You're doing it on the side of the road. Alright, now that that's off, like I said, let's check these pulleys. This one's nice and tight. Tensioner's nice and tight. Water pump's got play, which I know it's bad. Alternator's good. Everything feels good, guys, besides the water pump. So next thing I gotta do is figure out how I'm gonna get this water pump off. I'll get the camera back rolling once we get started. I believe I have to loosen up the AC and move the AC out of the way. Then I can access the bolts. So I'm going to start doing that. It looks like there's going to be 2 bolts. It's going to be a bolt down here, a bolt here, and a bolt down here in the front. From what I can see as of right now, I'll tell you what size those are when I get it off. And I'm also going to remove this cover. It's 8mm right here. Get this cover out of the way and I'll see what we're working with. Unfortunately, the weather is getting really shitty right now. Sorry, apologize for the language, really bad. So I'm not sure how far I'm going to get. I might have to pause and get back at it later. There's 2 bolts on this cover. One right here, one right here. I already got them loose. These are 8mm. Get this cover out of the way. Now you can see it exposed another bolt. That light moved to where we can see what the hell we're doing. As you can tell, guys, I'm not too fascinated about doing this, but there's going to be a 13mm here, a 13mm here, here. So let me get those zipped out. Let's see my 3/8 impact. Zip these right out. Now we got those out. The AC's loose. We'll see what we can do about getting it out of the way. Next thing you want to do is get this 13mm out of here. Zip that out. Your impact, you can get it in there. Now that we got that out of the way, you can see the AC, I had to pry up on it a little bit. There's little bushings down in here that line it up. Let me see what else we got to get off and I'll get the camera back on. Next thing, guys, you got to get this tensioner pulley out of the way, 15mm. Then down behind it, way back in this housing where my finger's pointing, there's going to be another bolt that's going to hold this bracket onto the block. I think there's only 2, there might be 3, we'll find out. Let me get this off. As you can see where my wrench is back there, that's going to be a 13mm on that one. So you're going to get that baby out of there, get it loosened up, and I'll get the camera back on in a minute. Now you're going to use your 15 and get your other tensioner pulley bolt out. I'm probably going to need both hands to do it because there is another long bolt back here and I'll show you. I lied to you guys. I thought there was a bolt back here behind the tensioner pulley. I can't find it. What I am going to have to do is loosen up this AC line. There's a 12mm on the bottom here. You guys can see in there. It holds this bracket on. Get that out of there. So then we can get this AC moving. I think we're gonna have to take the power steering pump loose too. I still haven't got this AC line clip removed. I might not have to. Take a 8mm. It was kind of a real pain. Get your adjuster out of the way. Take your whole adjuster off. And I believe there's a bolt hiding back here. So let me get that off. Hope you guys can see good. Get some more light on the situation here. So get this off and I'll show you the next bolt, because we got to get this whole bracket off. Now that that tensioner's off, you can see there's a little slot. Try to get the camera in there for you guys. It's going to be a 12mm or 13. I'm sorry guys, a 13 right there. Let me get that bolt out and I'll see what else it takes to get this AC power steering pump and tensioner bracket off. Now down here behind the power steering pump, you're going to have a 12mm. It's going to be back here, if you can see it, right here, next to the manifold. I think I can get my hand in there. It's going to be right down here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Maybe you'll be able to see once I get the socket on it. You can see down in there. Get that off. And get the one off behind it, which is going to be the stud. There's a nut, then the stud. I think we might be loose after that. Guys, on this side, right down here, where you can see my screwdriver pointing. Hopefully you guys will be able to see it. Right down there, to the left side of that other stud, on the back of that bracket, there's one more bolt hook hiding. 12mm or 13mm, I believe. I might have said 12 on the other one. It's a 13. Let me get the camera down there. You could probably see it, I hope, back there. So, like I said, it's back down here. I wish I could show you guys better. Let me get it out and I think we got the bracket off. What the 2 studs look like that you're after to get off down there. Now that I got those off, the whole entire bracket system here is loose for your power steering, your AC, all that. So let me figure out how we can get that tied up out of our way. Let's see now, better light. And let's get that stinking water pump off here. I should do a timing cover gasket while I'm in here. I'm not. Yes, I'm an idiot. I know that. I would tell somebody they're an idiot for not doing that. But due to the fact that I really don't want to screw with it, well, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to do the water pump. This temp sensor unplugged. I'm going to take the alternator off. It's going to be these 3 bolts. I believe they're 12 or 13 millimeter. Then the bracket's going to have 2 bolts down here. I'm going to get that out of the way. And it's possible I might just do the timing cover gasket on this thing because it is pretty mucky down there. So if I got it apart, I probably should just do it right. So we might do that in this video too. There's going to be 3 bolts on your alternator cover bracket. 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. And like I said, 3 bolts on the alternator. Now you can see we got that out. Now we do have to get that AC line out of the way. And I might as well just do the timing cover gasket while we're in here. Alright guys, I got that AC bracket out. It was kind of a pain in the ass. Now you're going to have to remove your clip, your wire clip. I'm going to probably do it off camera right here for your pickup, for your timing. Let me get that out of the way, and then we'll get this hose off for the water pump, and we'll get the water pump off this thing. Next, we're going to take the 2 7 mils that hold your crank position sensor on. Get them out of there using my little electric ratchet. These are 7 mils. I want to get this thing out of the way so it doesn't get broke. We are doing the front timing cover on this while we're in here. Next, we're going to pull these 2 hoses. This one here goes to the thermostat housing, and this one that goes to the water pump. I just want to get this one out of the way. Next, guys, you got 8 millimeter bolts on this water pump. You can see one over there on the right. There's one down below here towards the bottom, and there was one right there where you can see the rust mark. It snapped off, so we're gonna have fun. So let me get those 8 mils out. Then I believe the rest of these, get this light into position for you guys, are gonna be 12 mils on that water pump. And pay attention to your thread length. I don't know if they're different or not till I get this thing off. I lied, guys. There's 4 of these 8 millimeter bolts. There's one back here too. You can see I turned that AC line up out of the way, guys. It's a lot better now. Those are 13 millimeters that are going to hold the rest of this water pump on. What I am going to do off camera is you can see that hose looks like a real bugger to get to on the water pump. I don't think we got to get that off. Well, we're going to have to because I'm doing the timing cover. So I'm just going to pull it off at the radiator down there, and then I'll fight with it from there. Probably, that's just what I'm thinking right now. So let me get the rest of this off, and then I'll show you how we get the harmonic balancer off. There's actually going to be another 8 millimeter down underneath here, underneath the pulley in the back. It's hard to see, so I got to get that out too. Alright guys, those are 13 millimeters that hold the crank pulley on. I was able to use my Bauer 3/8 impact with a short socket on it. Let me find it for you guys right here. And I was able to just get that in there with the radiator in there, and it cracked them all loose and took them out. Thank God. Now we got to get the harmonic balancer off. I already put a flathead in there. You can see there's a bunch of dirt built up in there. Get all that crap off from around that bolt. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get the big Milwaukee in there, which I think we can. And we'll see if we can pop that bolt out. If not, we'll heat it up with a torch. Harmonic balancer bolt is 21 millimeter. I was able to sneak my Milwaukee 3/4 in there, and she popped it right loose. Thank God, because I've fought with these on a 2.5 Ford before, and let me tell you, that was no joke. Wind up having to heat it up with a torch, everything under the sun. So we'll get this bolt out, and I got to see what's involved with using a puller to get this harmonic balancer off, and we'll take it from there, guys. Look at all the crap that just fell out of there. Okay, guys, I got a piece of steel cut that fits inside my puller. It slips right inside there. That's going to go inside the crank, just like this. And then I'm going to use the 2 studs that hold the AC, or the power steering. You can see one in there. Put it on the other side, and let's get this puppy off. You can see she's starting to come right off for me. really great. Sorry, the camera fell. So, alright guys, well, I'll show you once she comes all the way out what it looks like. This is the first time I've ever had success pulling one of these. They're usually a real pain in the ass. As you can see, it's almost out. So I need both hands and get it the rest of the way out. It's a new day. We got to get this timing cover off. Down on your oil pan, you're going to want to remove, I believe there's 2 or 3 on each side, the very front oil pan bolts. We're going to remove that radiator hose, and then it looks like you got a possibly a 10 mil there, and then your big 13 or 14 mils here, and that timing case will come off. I did order a new timing chain for it, so we're going to put that on. New cover seal, I got some RTV for it, and I cleaned up the water pump bolts, so I'll show you guys all that as it goes back together. I can actually show you the bolts now for the water pump. They're over here. I chased them, ultrasonic cleaned them, then chased them with a thread or with a die. They cleaned up really nice. Ford wanted 167 bucks for those bolts, so that ain't gonna happen. I am gonna have to go to the junkyard and get one or find one. But okay, let me get these oil pan bolts out. I'll let you know what size they are when they're off. I'll show you the whole front cover when it's off.